of an interesting one. I've just been watching a video on 2C TV, and it's actually showing Islamists at the Wembley Mosque, or the Wembley Centre in London, and they basically, a load of guys come charging out and start attacking people outside the mosque. I believe there's about 6 people injured in the attack. People who were just outside peacefully demonstrating, and apparently the Islamists decided that they weren't allowed to have their views in the country of England and Great Britain. One of the people who's actually filmed it stated, "What the hell have the British establishment allowed into the country?" Basically, this is the state of the UK in 2024, when peaceful protesters who may be pro-English and pro-democracy are allowed to be viciously attacked. The police in this country, who seem to be stepping to one side and allowing these things to happen. And at the same time, you have people like Tommy Robinson, yes, the roar of applause and cheers went up with that name. Tommy Robinson is attacked for having breakfast with his children in a London cafe by up to 20 odd coppers. I think what's happening now is people are starting to wake up to the two-tier system and to the fact that our own government are importing possibly millions of illegal migrants, fighting aged men. To be perfectly honest with you, I'd say our own governments are importing an army into this country, and you have to ask yourself why that is. These people are being allowed to roam the streets of this country and destroy everywhere where they've gone. And you only have to look at places such as France, Germany and Ireland to see how these people treat others who have welcomed them into their country. To be perfectly honest with you, I think it's time that people started to speak out, started to rise up, because if we don't, then what our fathers and grandfathers fought and many died for over the past 100 years has meant nothing. The one thing about the British, we may have been conquered, but we've never been beaten. And I think it's time that we show the invaders and the traitors in our midst what's going to be coming for them. The funny thing about our political system now is the fact that just last year, Tommy Robinson actually ran for local councillor position in Manchester, and when the votes were counted up, Tommy Robinson actually had a vast amount of votes. In fact, his votes exceeded those of many others. However, because of the way our political system is set up, Tommy wasn't voted in. He didn't get a seat. However, the people who got less votes than him actually did get a seat on the local council. And then the same people started to slag Tommy Robinson off because he lost. Shows the hypocrisy of our political system. Another podcast that was featuring Tommy Robinson was regarding a gathering that's going to be happening in June, which is being arranged by Tommy down in London. Obviously he's calling for people to go down and be involved, and basically it's a gathering to pull together communities to network with other like-minded patriotic people, irrespective of your race, colour, religion or demographic. And the idea is to create a movement which is going to turn the tide on what's currently happening. Sorry about that. Was asked the time by somebody. So, getting back onto what I was saying, it's a movement designed to unite people. It's a movement that is being used to highlight that the establishments in this country and in other countries have used tactics to drive wedges in between people. Now, we all know there are differences, you know, different cultures, different religions and what have you. We all have our own views. And it wasn't a long time ago that you could actually discuss your views. However, if you do that these days and it offends somebody, then somehow you become a criminal. Who the hell gave these people the green light to tell somebody that because they've got a view that's different to somebody else's, that might be seen as offensive to somebody else, can actually try to actually remove our rights, human rights, and I don't mean the Human Rights Act, I mean our own rights as human beings. It's really busy around here today. A little bit of sun and then everybody's out. But yeah, as I say, who gave these people who think that they are the powerful to try and take away what rightfully belongs to every man, woman and child on this planet? They've played games using Marxist ideology, which is transformed into socialism, communism, fascism, Maoism. You name the isms, and you can guarantee that this has come right out of the Marxist handbook. They're using race, sex and religion now to drive a massive web between communities. The plan is to destroy communities, because when we're all fragmented and when we're all fighting against each other, then we take our eye off the actual ball. And the ball being played here is by a team that likes nothing more than to cheat. It's now time, and I think Tommy Robinson summed it up pretty well, that we need to put those differences aside, because those are the differences that have been created for us, not by us. Yes, we are our own little tribes. However, since the tribes joined up and certain people were put in charge of those tribes, then those in charge of those tribes have actually decided that we are the problem. We need controlling, when in fact it's those psychopaths who need to be controlled. It's those psychopaths who need to be called to account. Anybody who gets involved in any of these movements now needs to look at the rules and the philosophies, like the Ten Commandments, you know, things like, is child exploitation acceptable? Is child trafficking acceptable? Is the genocide of different cultures, different races, different people acceptable? And if your answer to all of those questions is no, then join the march.